How does a scriptwriter handle the reboot of a familiar character? There are two particular ways. The first is to provide an origin story, an explanation of how a character grew to be like they are. The second is not to waste time on this, but to allow the character to come fully formed so everyone can get on with the story. It feels like every film about Batman and the Joker has to make this choice. It's fair to say that St. Mark allows his characters to come fully formed because he has a story to tell in his gospel and a staccato, punchy way of doing it. His gospel erupts with the story of John, and in no time we've been introduced to the adult Jesus. But it is the voice crying out in the wilderness we hear first. John carefully positions himself to ensure Jerusalem comes to him and not him to Jerusalem. The spiritual capital was full of history, ambition, and grandeur, but the sheer, untamed charisma of John pulled the crowds to the desert like filings to a magnet. The Word of God set the time, the place, and the agenda of the people's encounter. It asked people to make a dangerous journey that would have disorientated those who liked to be in control. It gave them unending, hostile, physical space to reflect on their smallness and vulnerability. And it gave them John. He had one goal in life: to prepare the ground for Jesus. Few people accept a job description which asks them to decrease in importance over time, because redundancy is the logical outcome. But John embraced this with relish. If the people encountered God powerfully in the wilderness then, every church now should try and figure out where the wilderness is in their locality, where the environment is hostile to human flourishing, and yet where God may want us to stand with the needy. For some, these are places of material deprivation, where people work wall to wall and live hand to mouth, without any space to reflect and grow their own soul. For others, these are places of emotional poverty, where loneliness and loss cause the soul to wither. For all, these are places where the seeds of the gospel, however carefully they are strewn, fall on hard soil and are exposed until snatched away. The greatest danger is to remain unaware of the wildernesses around us and within us, accepting the creeping sand and stony ground as an unexceptional part of modern life, not seeing it for what it is until it's too late to do much about it. When faced with lots of challenges, fewer disciples, poorer resources, greater social need, it can be hard to map a highway through the wilderness. We're tempted to build lots of roads that makes it look like we're busy, but each road can loop back on itself like Spaghetti Junction. We confuse ourselves like a driver trying to follow a complex route on a sat-nav which keeps changing at the last minute. John the Baptist offers some helpful clues. Keep it simple. Find the wilderness and stand in it with others. Don't be afraid to stay there. Don't confuse people over why you are there. Point to Jesus. Fade into the background. It's all about him.